Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having us here. And yes, very undigital, I think, is the right introduction. And yes, you could ask yourself, you know, that's a company, they're making these great sports cars like the 911 GT3 RS here. And I could talk about those cars here for 20 minutes with a lot of passion. I would enjoy it, maybe you would enjoy it, but that's not the purpose why I'm here. I would like to talk a bit about business models and about the ecosystem of Porsche. Obviously, our ecosystem is to, develop, manufacture, and sell those great cars. And a big part of that ecosystem is our dealerships. Independent entrepreneurs who build dealerships, where you would go to buy a car, get it serviced. We have accessory business. We have a great merchandising business. But there you could say every car manufacturer has that. They have dealerships, they have merchandising. So I would like to point out a couple of things that are a bit specific for us, and that are really making us successful. One part is very undigital, to say it in your words. That's, for instance, a sport driving school. You can learn how to really drive a car. At Porsche, you could do that in Le Mans. We have a driving experience center here in Silverstone. Next week, we will be opening one in Los Angeles, and up to, a race driver pilot license, you could really drive a car there, drive up in Finland on ice if you wish. So that's kind of the asphalt world of our business, but the digital world is just as important. And their partnerships are important for early branding. We have partners like Lego. You can see here the picture of the Lego Technics GT3 RS. That's more for the larger kids in this case. Then, it would take me 2 days to build that Lego car here. And digital is important both in gaming, where we have our cars in very successful games, both online games, virtual racing, but it's also important in social media. Now everybody is in social media, but to give you a couple of examples, we were the first automotive brand to have a Facebook account. We were the first automotive brand to have a YouTube channel, for instance. So there you can see digitalization is extremely important for our business, and especially and also in marketing, we are driving that very hard. And we have 3 examples here for digitalization and how we do that. I would start with an, let's say, easy one, our homepage. Of course, we have a homepage. You all have a homepage, Porsche.com. But our clear target is to have the most emotional and best functional internet page, at least of all car brands out there. We have achieved that in the last 8 years. We will, in each year, ranked as #1 in the industry. And also pushing technology. We were, now that's 2.5 years ago, when we implemented our fully responsive design website. And for us, that means quite a bit, because we have 39 country versions of our website. We have 550,000 pages on Porsche.com. So to have a complete redesign of that web page structure is quite a bit of an effort for a small company like we are, small compared to the other automotive companies, of course. So that's example number 1. And when you're in kind of that entry portal, that's the portal for most people to the brand of Porsche, is Porsche.com. And when you're there and looking for cars and dream about your car, another example is the car configurator. Now every car manufacturer has a configurator. For us, it is really important that we have exactly that car that you're dreaming of, and when you configure it with exactly the wheels, exactly the color, the trim level, the stitching on the dashboard, to have that visualized in 3D. In a very high quality. What you see here is not a picture crowd, but that's out of our car configurators, kind of 3 screenshots. And to give you a feel for the complexity, you can have more than 1 sextillion combinations that we can display in the car configurator, 3D high quality. So that's a 1 with 21 zeros right after it. For those in the room who are asking themselves, what is a sextillion? Today you would probably call that big data. We call it our car configurator. Example number 3, digitalization. We use it for personalization and also for emotions. Everybody has a catalog out there. What we do when, an interest was at a dealership, has configured a car and has not bought yet, we give the dealership the possibility to print a one-off catalog. So that catalog would be with the name of that person on it. Mr. Smith, this is your car that you've been configuring. So it will say the Panamera 4E Hybrid in sapphire blue metallic with a 21-inch black alloy wheels. The exterior color will be exactly as configured. The interior will be shown exactly in the way the customer has configured it. That catalog will be sent to the customer so that they can dream on a bit about that car and hopefully can then come back to the dealership. But they have a very specific, exactly for that customer and his wishes or her wishes. And that helps to drive really then the business of the dealership and obviously ours and to make the customer happy. So those are things we are working on at the moment and we are rolling out. The real question at the end of the day is, what will happen until 2025 to pick one number. We need to prepare for that. And one mega trend that I would like to talk about a bit is urbanization. In the year 2008, for the first time in humanity, more people were living in urban areas than in rural areas, for the first time ever. And that obviously continues. You see the picture here. It drives, for instance, electric mobility. It drives sharing. Let me touch very briefly sharing. I know you discuss a lot about sharing. The discussions of car sharing is out there. Airbnb is, to some extent, a sharing platform. And we have a very specific view in sharing and where sharing is relevant for us and also where it's maybe not as relevant. So I brought a little film about sharing at Porsche.
Driver change.
Good luck, man. Thanks.
Now. Driver change.
How is it?
Good. Stop getting the first paragraph.
And go. Driver change. Change.
Exit opening.
Driver change. Radio check. What's the pace?
No way, man.
So you can see we have a specific version of sharing. Also, you could see some things you would not share. And so sharing really is not so much of our business. And let's say for the next 10 years, that's okay if it remains that way. By the way, for all the male participants here, there was Patrick Dempsey here in that film. I guess all the females in that room recognized him along with Patrick Long, a race car driver. And they were really driving in Le Mans. But what we are really taking very serious and we are actively have been working on is the electrification of vehicles. What you might not know, we were the first ones to introduce a plug-in hybrid in a premium segment in a sedan, the Panamera, 5 years ago. And the Cayenne plug-in hybrid was the first premium SUV plug-in hybrid in the market 4 years ago. So we're taking that very, very serious. What you see here is our concept car, the Mission E. This is going to be the first battery electric vehicle of Porsche that will be in the showrooms in 2019. So electric mobility is extremely important for us. And to show another picture, it's not going to be just the car, it's going to be part of an ecosystem. Charging, for instance, as you see here in the charging post, will be extremely important. So urbanization, electric mobility, plus obviously then connectivity. Connectivity is extremely big game changer in the automotive industry. It started with navigation system, people taking their smartphones into the car for navigation. And one aspect that we think is key, some automotive companies say, hey, you know, if you have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in your car, you have all the functionalities that you need in your car. Our view is the following. You know, you have one user experience in a car. So on the right-hand side, you see the interior of the new Panamera. And that is a user experience, the way it is designed, the way it functions, the way, you know, you use things in that car. And we say that needs to be one user experience, a Porsche user experience. So we are building Porsche Connect. It went live on October 18th this year, that you have everything fully integrated in the car in our Connect ecosystem. You have the possibility, obviously, to take that ecosystem to your other mobile devices. Obviously, the car is the ultimate mobile device, but to take it to your smartphone, to your tablet, and from there access your car, you know, check where it is for an electric vehicle, check the battery status, or send a navigation point to the car. And we believe it needs to be one seamless Porsche user interface and user experience. Charging will be important as well. Public charging is one thing. From what we know from our customers, more than 90% of the charging situations is when you are at home and charge your vehicle overnight. There as well, we said, you know, we need a solution for the customer to build our ecosystem here. What you see here is the Porsche wall box that is developed by us. We sell that to the customer, respectively, the standard equipment in the plug-in hybrid vehicle, so that at home you have a solution where you can charge your vehicle. We'll have electricians have that implemented at home in the garage of the customer, so that they also have a Porsche experience here. And when you take that from here, I mean, for plug-in hybrids, it's relatively easy. They have a smaller battery, but going to fully electric vehicles, you know, you have a large battery, you will need different charging powers. We said we will need to go to smart home integrations, because one battery electric vehicle consumes about the same amount of electricity as a full house with, you know, one family household has the same consumption of electricity per year. Now with high charging powers, you need load management, you need the smart home integration so that the vehicle really charges overnight and your fuses are not blown. You know, you can still use the oven, the hairdryer, whatever you have in your house. So we are going into smart home integration just as well. That means what we are building up is our Porsche ecosystem. At the center is the customer with a Porsche ID, pretty much like at Apple you would have an Apple ID. That is the entry into the Porsche ecosystem. And in that ecosystem, we have solutions from Porsche Connect, navigation, infotainment solutions. There are charging solutions. You need billing, payment with the respective backend systems for it. Of course, there's, you know, the sport driving school topics that you could book there. And you have classical things like just a winter change, tire change, for example. That's also going to be part in the future when you drive. You need those services by your dealership. So integrating that into those independent entrepreneurs, into their ecosystems, is then going to be the really tricky part from an IT side and the process side. Parking is a topic as well we are working on. Today in urban driving situations, in most cities, 1/3 of the traffic in urban areas is searching for a parking space. I guess here in London, you know, if you try to come here in your own car, you probably can confirm that. That's just a nightmare. So having a parking solution is going to be very valuable, both for the customers and the city and the environment here. What we believe is, you know, if you work on those topics, you've seen the car I showed at the very beginning, that at the end of the day, you do that with a lot of passion. We drive those topics not because we think we have to and see digitalization as something terrible that happens to us, but as a great chance to be closer to the customer, deliver something a lot more emotional that goes beyond, the normal car and what you've been able to buy from us in the past. And to show you a bit of the passion and why we are working on it, I have a little film here.
Manche fragen, was bringt uns Elektrizität? Manche fragen, was bringt uns digitale Technologie? Genug gefragt. Der neue Panamera Plug-in Hybrid. Serienmäßig mit Porsche Connect.
So no further questions asked, bringing an additional engine into the car, having those connect options is really extending our business model, and we see it a bit like a tree. You have to have very deep roots to stand stable and then grow from here into the future of electrification, of connect, of additional services. They will be also very local, so that ecosystem has clear interfaces, because we will have different service partners in China versus, let's say here in Great Britain versus the US. This is how we are driving our business. We are very much looking forward to it, going very much into digitalization, cooperate with smaller companies, startup companies, and I would just like to thank you for looking at our view on ecosystems and business models. I hope you find it insightful, and see you later at lunch. Thank you very much.